I am delighted to introduce Congressman Eric Swalwell. So Congressman Swalwell served for 8 years on the House Intelligence Committee, where he was chairman and ranking member overseeing the CIA. And on the Intelligence Committee, he helped lead the House investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. Later, a lot of folks know him as the first and second impeachments of Donald Trump. He's a member of the House leadership team. He's been on the House floor he was on the House floor on January 6th. And a week after the attack, Eric was appointed as a House impeachment manager for the former president's Senate trial. I'm a huge fan of Eric Swalwell. I got to tell you, I just think he's great. He's become a good friend, which is fabulous. I'll read the rest of the bio. Okay. Eric currently serves on the House Judiciary and Homeland Security Committees. He's also the chairman emeritus and founder of Future Forum, which is a group of young Democratic members focused on issues and opportunities for millennial Americans. Eric is also the founder and co-chair of the Bipartisan Critical Materials Caucus and Personalized Medicine Caucus. So without further ado, Congressman Swalwell, Eric, it's a real treat to see you, and thank you so much for doing that and being with us.
Hey, thank you, Carol, for asking me to do this. You've been telling me about Common Ground for so many years, and you're doing great work. And with just about 80 days to go, the work could not be more important. And so you all have just the best evangelist in Carol. Every time I talk to her, Common Ground is brought up. And also, I see a lot of friends on here, but one of the biggest hustlers I see on here is Mark Hamill. Mark and I were on, I think, 3 Zooms together last week. He's on this week. He's all in. I'm all in. You're all in for the work that we have to do. So thank you, Mark. I mean, it's really amazing what this campaign has brought out. And what's so exciting about it is because the switch was made so late in the cycle, what it would typically take, a year for campaigns to do is just not possible right now. And so we are all lifting up the vice president, Kamala Harris, and Governor Tim Walz with our own grassroots effort. And you all you're the blueprint, you're the model because you've been doing it for so long, and you're focused in the South, and you've put the South in play, certainly in North Carolina, but also in Florida, because in Florida, abortion rights and cannabis are both on the ballot. And so the former president cannot take that state, his home state, for granted, and Senator Rick Scott cannot take it for granted. And there are 2 House seats in Florida, in South Florida and in the Tampa area, that are also both in play. So the South, and including Georgia, and I'll be there tomorrow in Atlanta for campaign events. Georgia also very much in play. I just want to tell you why I'm so excited about this race. I've known Kamala for 20 years. She and I both got our start at a district attorney's office in Oakland, the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, and have kind of bonded over our connection to that office. And what I can tell you is she's tough, she's real, she's smart, most importantly, she's ready. And I'll talk about this in a second. She's also having fun, and that is contagious. It really has energized all of us in the work that we have to do. And it's refreshing because frankly, it just hasn't been fun for the last couple of years because the work has been so important and so dark. To have an energetic candidate like Kamala really is bringing all of us, I think, and reminding all of us why we do this work. But this office, I think you'll be interested to know, is the same office where Earl Warren began his career as a deputy district attorney. And he did that right after Prohibition. And then he became the district attorney of the office. And Kamala would leave our office to go become the district attorney of San Francisco, just across the bay. And then, of course, Earl Warren became attorney general, just like Kamala Harris, then governor of California. And he was also a vice presidential candidate for Thomas Dewey, but of course lost to Harry Truman. And then that's a good thing because Earl Warren went on the court and would author Brown v. Board of Education. He would also author a number of different cases that would afford criminal defendants more rights And he said he did that because of abuses he saw by police and prosecutors when he was a young prosecutor in Oakland. And that office where Kamala had the formative years of her career was all about doing justice. It was not about wins and losses, and that was really ingrained in every young prosecutor. It was about doing justice, putting the really bad guys away and showing mercy to the people who came before your courtroom who were worth it, and believing that every person is entitled to a second act. And I saw that in her approach, when she would become district attorney in San Francisco and attorney general. And she is going to be just a terrific president. Going back, to the work ahead, all of these states are in play, but it's really going to be your philosophy that is going to help elect Kamala Harris. And your philosophy is that you don't just tell people a week before the voter registration deadline comes that they have to register to vote, and then you tell them the day before the election that they have to go vote. No, you help them build agency for themselves. Of course, we want them to know how to vote. We want them to know how to be registered, how to check on their registration, but we send them and direct them to civic events in their community so they know what the issues are, how to have access to the people who make decisions in their lives and their community, and that their greatest agency is not registering to vote or voting on election day. It's once the candidate that they voted for is in office, that they're able to hold them accountable and tell them and their campaigns and their staff what their expectations are. And that's a journey that you take the people that you touch and stay in contact with throughout the election cycle. And that's what makes you all so special. And finally, I just want to tell you, I approach this not as somebody who knows Kamala, has known Kamala for the last 20 years, but also as a father of 3 little kids. And I think every day about the opportunity we have to really chart a brighter future for them. And I'll tell you, recently I took my son and daughter to a parade in my district. And every parade, I pass out rubber duckies that are themed to that parade. And as I was going along the parade route, my son, Nelson, who was 6 years old at the time, he went up to a little girl and handed her a rubber ducky. And a man standing behind her, who I think was her dad, looked at my son and said, "We're for Trump." And my little boy looked back at me, and then he looked at the man and he said, "Who's Trump?" And to me, that's the opportunity we have. We all will remember what we have suffered through as a country, as a community. But we have, out of the mouths of babes, the opportunity for them to never know and never really have to live through the consequences of his presidency. And so let's do it for our kids, and let's chart the future with our future, which is in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. So thank you all, Common Ground. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Mark. And I look forward to seeing you all out there.